The bakery went silent the moment she asked it. "Do you have an expired cake for my daughter?" Her voice was soft, shaking, embarrassed. The cashier blinked at her, confused, then smirked, then laughed, loud. People turned, phones lifted. Someone whispered, "Why is she even in here?" The black woman kept her eyes low, holding a tiny folded coupon and counting coins in her palm. Quarters, dimes, all she had. Behind her, a man in a tailored suit paused. A millionaire, hidden in plain sight. He heard every word. And when the cashier said, "Lady, even trash is too expensive for you," he stepped forward. Right before the moment everything changed. To see what really happened next, keep watching. Her name was Danielle Parker, a 32-year-old black mother who'd spent the last 4 years working 2 jobs, saving every spare dollar, fighting silently to give her daughter Mia a life better than the one she grew up with. But today she had nothing left. Mia's birthday was hours away. No decorations, no gifts, just a small wish. "Mommy, can I have a cake this year?" Danielle promised she would try. So she walked into the upscale Riverside Bakery, a place filled with gold-trimmed glass, velvet chairs, and cakes so expensive they belonged in museums, not homes. She didn't belong here. She felt it. Everyone felt it. Behind the counter was Cassandra, a cashier who treated customers like furniture, except the ones she looked down on. Then she became something else, sharp, cruel, loud enough to embarrass. At a nearby table sat Elliot Brandt, a quiet man in a navy suit, sipping coffee, reading spreadsheets, trying not to be seen. Very few people recognized him, but in the business world, he was a giant, a millionaire who built tech solutions for small communities. But today, he wasn't a millionaire. Today, he was just a man watching a mother in pain. Danielle approached the counter carefully, holding her coupon like it was her last lifeline. Cassandra barely glanced at her. "Prices are on the board," she said, annoyed. Danielle swallowed. I just wanted to know if you have any expired cakes. Ones you throw away. I can pay a little. It's my daughter's birthday." The bakery went quiet. A couple at the back exchanged looks. A teenage boy whispered, "Is she serious?" Cassandra raised a brow, already forming a cruel smile. She saw Danielle's worn shoes, her tired eyes, her trembling hands, and she decided to humiliate her. But what the cashier didn't know was this. Danielle wasn't the one being judged today. She was the one being watched, by someone who would soon turn this entire bakery upside down. Cassandra laughed, not loudly but sharply, like she wanted every person in that bakery to hear just enough to sting. "Expired cake?" she said, tapping her glossy nails on the counter. "Ma'am, this is a premium bakery. We don't hand out trash." A few people looked up from their phones. Danielle's cheeks burned. She kept her voice soft. "I wasn't asking for free. I can pay a little. Just not full price." Cassandra folded her arms. "You can't afford a cake here, even expired." The words hit like slaps. Danielle tried again. "Please, my daughter is turning 7. She's been so excited. I just thought—" "You thought wrong," Cassandra cut in. At his table, Elliot Brandt lowered his cup. His jaw tightened. He didn't speak yet, but something in his posture shifted, like a man recognizing the kind of pain he once grew up in. Danielle reached into her purse and took out crumpled bills. $8. "This is what I have. Could I maybe get a cupcake? Even one that didn't sell?" Cassandra scoffed. "You're blocking the line." There was no line, but humiliation didn't need facts. A woman near the door whispered, "Some people should just go to cheaper places." Danielle swallowed her tears. "I just want to do something nice for my daughter," she whispered. Cassandra leaned forward with a cruel smile. "Oh, trust me. Your daughter already knows she's not getting anything nice." That was it. The bakery went completely silent. Even Elliot froze. Danielle felt her knees weaken. She didn't argue, didn't defend herself, didn't explain the job she'd lost last month, or the second job she couldn't start yet, or the hospital bills she was paying off. She simply stood there, small, embarrassed, exposed. Cassandra turned away. "Ma'am, step aside." "You're done." Danielle closed her eyes, then slowly turned to leave, clutching her purse like it was all she had left in the world. But then, "Wait," a voice said. Danielle stopped. Cassandra rolled her eyes. Elliot Brandt stood up from the corner table. Straight posture, eyes sharp, expression unreadable. He walked to the counter with calm precision. "Excuse me," he said to Cassandra. "Did I hear correctly? You refuse to sell her anything?" Cassandra flipped her hair. "We don't sell trash food, and we don't serve people who can't pay." Elliot studied her. "You called expired products trash food?" "Yes." He pointed to a tray on the back rack. 3 cakes with yellow stickers. "What about those?" "Oh," Cassandra stuttered, "those are discounted." But she still can't afford them. Danielle's head lowered. Elliot didn't look at the cakes. He looked at Danielle, at the broken dignity in her eyes. Then he said softly but firmly, "Ma'am, did you insult this woman's child?" Cassandra stiffened. I simply stated facts. You humiliated her." "I was just being honest." "No," Elliot said. His voice dropped into something cold and cutting. "You were being cruel." A couple customers nodded. Another whispered, "Finally, someone said it." But Cassandra didn't back down. She jabbed a finger toward Danielle. "She came in here begging. What do you want me to do? We run a business, not a charity." Danielle winced. Elliot inhaled deeply, then turned to Danielle. "What's your daughter's name?" "B." "How old is she turning?" 7. A gentle smile touched his lips. Something soft, something warm. Then he faced Cassandra again. "I'd like to buy the cake." "All of them." Cassandra blinked. "All 3?" Elliot nodded. "And I want them boxed with decorations, birthday candles, and a ribbon." Cassandra's annoyance cracked into confusion. "Okay, but—" "And," he continued, "I want you to apologize to this woman, clearly, loud enough for everyone to hear." The bakery froze. Cassandra's mouth dropped. Apologize?" "Yes," Elliot said calmly. "Or I'll make one phone call and your manager will replace you before sunset." Danielle's eyes widened. Cassandra laughed nervously. "You don't have that kind of power." He pulled out his wallet. Sleek, black, expensive. Inside was a business card. He placed it gently on the counter. Cassandra read it. Her face drained of color. Elliot Brandt, founder, Brandt Community Investments. Her voice cracked. You're that Elliot Brandt?" He crossed his arms. "And I'm waiting for your apology." The bakery held its breath. Cassandra swallowed, trembling. Everyone watched. The power had shifted. The humiliation was no longer on Danielle. It was circling back toward its source, fast. Cassandra's throat bobbed as she stared at the business card like it was a verdict. Elliot didn't blink. Customers leaned in. Phones lifted. Quiet, discreet, but recording. The air felt electric. Finally, Cassandra exhaled shakily. "I apologize," she whispered. Elliot raised an eyebrow. Louder. Her jaw locked. "I said, I'm sorry," she murmured again. Louder. Cassandra's face reddened. Her pride wrestled with her fear, but fear won. "I'm sorry," she blurted, voice cracking through the bakery. I shouldn't have spoken to you that way." Danielle froze. For a moment, she didn't even know how to react. Her whole life, apologies had been quiet, forced, or non-existent. This one was public, clear, and demanded on her behalf. Elliot nodded once. "Good, now go box the cakes." Cassandra hurried to the back, humiliated. The room buzzed with shocked whispers. Danielle wiped her eyes softly. "You didn't have to do that." He turned to her, voice gentler than she expected. "Yes," he said. "I did." Then he picked up his wallet again. "I overheard what you asked for. An expired cake." His eyes softened. "You weren't asking for luxury. Just a way to make your daughter happy." Danielle stared at the floor. "I didn't want to bother anyone. I just wanted her to feel special, even if the cake wasn't perfect." Elliot shook his head. "Your love is perfect. The cake doesn't matter." Her breath caught. Cassandra returned cautiously, placing 3 beautifully boxed cakes on the counter. Her hands shook as she packed ribbons, candles, and a small, Happy birthday. Mia Topper. Is that all?" she whispered. Elliot nodded. Then he pulled out his platinum card. Cassandra rang it up, voice trembling. When she handed him the receipt, he didn't take it. Instead, he slid it back toward her. "And one more thing." Cassandra froze again. "I'm going to speak with your manager," Elliot said calmly. "You weren't fired today because of fear, but you will be trained, properly, on how to treat customers with dignity." Her lip trembled. "Yes, sir." He turned away from her, clearly done. Then he picked up the 3 cake boxes and walked toward Danielle. But instead of handing them to her immediately, he placed them on a table, pulled out a chair, and gestured for her to sit. Confused, she did. "May I?" he asked. She nodded hesitantly. He opened the first box and rotated the cake so the handwritten topper faced her. A beautifully piped vanilla cake. Yellow frosting. Soft sprinkles. "Your daughter deserves better than expired," he said. "This is the least she deserves." Danielle's eyes filled again. "Mr. Brand, I can't accept all this. You're not accepting a gift." He met her eyes steadily. "You're accepting respect." Her lips parted. No one had ever said something like that to her. Not a stranger. Not like this. Then something else happened. Something even more shocking. A little girl stood near a corner booth watching them. She tugged her mom's sleeve. "Mommy, why was she crying?" Her mother crouched down, whispering, "Because sometimes people forget to be kind." Elliot overheard. He turned to Danielle again. "You did nothing wrong. Nothing." She nodded weakly. He continued. "I grew up in a neighborhood where people humiliated my mother like that. She worked 3 jobs. She cried quietly so I wouldn't hear, but I always heard." Danielle swallowed hard. "That's why I build community centers. That's why I invest in small businesses. Because dignity isn't a privilege." He paused, voice thickening. "It's a right." Danielle's tears fell silently now. Not from shame, but from validation. People began approaching. A middle-aged woman placed a hand on Danielle's shoulder. "You're a good mother," she said softly. A young man nodded. "You didn't deserve any of that." Even the cashier, a young girl who had been too afraid to intervene, earlier whispered, "I'm sorry she talked to you like that." The bakery had transformed. From a place of humiliation to a place of witness. Elliot stood and gently slid the cakes toward Danielle. "These are for Mia, and when she blows out her candles, I want her to know something." He leaned in just slightly. "She has a mother who fought through the world with grace, even when the world tried to crush her." Danielle covered her mouth, sobbing softly. He picked up a napkin and handed it to her like it was a priceless gift. Then he said the line that broke everyone. "You didn't come here looking for charity. You came here with love, and love deserves honor." The bakery grew still, deeply still. A woman who came in to ask for expired cake was walking out with her dignity intact, and a millionaire's respect behind her. The bakery had gone quiet again, not from fear now, but from something heavier, something almost sacred. Danielle sat there, hands trembling on the table, staring at the cakes Elliot had placed before her. The yellow frosting shimmered in the warm lights. The happy birthday Mia topper sat perfectly centered, like it had been waiting for this moment. For the first time since walking in, she didn't feel small. Cassandra stood stiff behind the counter, eyes lowered, as if the weight of her own actions was finally settling on her shoulders. The other customers who had watched everything unfold hadn't moved. Their faces reflected a mixture of shock, respect, and awakening. Elliot rested his palms gently on the table. "Danielle," he said softly, "look at me." Her eyes lifted slowly. "You did nothing to deserve humiliation. Not today. Not ever." Her throat tightened. "But people like me, we get used to it." He shook his head. "That's the problem," he said. "You shouldn't have to." For a moment, neither of them spoke. The bakery hummed with the sound of the refrigerator, cases, and the faint buzz of phone cameras still pointed in their direction. But no one was recording for drama anymore. They were recording because they knew this moment mattered. A middle-aged man stepped forward cautiously. "Sir, ma'am, I just want to say..." He swallowed. "That was wrong." What she did to you. People shouldn't talk to customers like that. Danielle nodded, but she didn't hide behind silence this time. People talk to me like that a lot, she admitted. I'm tired. Her voice cracked on the last word. Elliot pulled out a chair beside hers and sat down like he had all the time in the world. Tell me about Mia, he said. And just like that, the tension softened. Danielle wiped her face with the napkin he'd given her. She's turning 7. She loves yellow and music, and she wants to be a teacher. Her smile wavered. I promised her a cake. I didn't know how I'd afford one. Elliot nodded. You kept your promise. That's what matters. Cassandra flinched in the background. The bakery manager, having rushed out from the back after hearing raised voices earlier, approached cautiously. Mr. Brand. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Elliot cut him off with a calm, firm glance. You're not the one who has to apologize, he said. The manager turned to Cassandra, who looked like she wanted to melt into the floor. But Elliot's voice softened again. Not toward her, but toward everyone watching. We're not here to destroy anyone, he said. We're here to remind people what dignity looks like. Cassandra's eyes filled with tears. She whispered, I'm sorry. Truly. Danielle exhaled slowly. Not forgiveness, not bitterness, just release. Elliot stood up and reached for the largest cake box. He held it with effortless care, like holding something precious. Where do you live? He asked. Danielle blinked. Just a few blocks away. Walk with me, he said. I'd like to meet Mia. She froze. Her heart stuttered. Meet her? Elliot smiled gently. If you're comfortable. She nodded, stunned. As they stepped toward the door, the customers parted like they were forming an honor guard. A few offered soft words. Happy birthday to your daughter. You're a strong woman. She's lucky to have you. Danielle felt something warm growing in her chest. Something she hadn't felt in a long time. Pride. Real, unshaken pride. Outside, the afternoon sun wrapped around them. Elliot carried 2 cake boxes. Danielle held the third close to her chest. People walking by glanced at the unlikely pair. A wealthy businessman and a modest mother, but there was no shame between them. Only respect. As they reached her apartment building, Danielle hesitated. I don't want you to think I'm taking advantage. Elliot shook his head. You're giving me more than I'm giving you, he said. You're reminding me why money matters. Not for status, not for power, but for impact. She inhaled sharply, eyes watering again. Inside the small apartment, Mia ran to the door with bright eyes. Mommy, you're back! Did you get a cake? Danielle knelt and held out the box. Mia gasped. It's so pretty. Then she noticed Elliot behind her mother. Who's he? Danielle looked at Elliot. Elliot looked at Mia. And he knelt. My name is Elliot, he said softly. And this world is a better place because your mommy is in it. Mia smiled shyly. She is? Yes, he whispered. She is. Danielle's tears finally fell. Not from humiliation, but from healing. Elliot stood, placed a gentle hand on her shoulder, and said the line that echoed long after he left. Your daughter will grow up remembering the love you showed today, not the pain someone tried to give you. He stepped out quietly, leaving nothing behind except dignity restored. And a birthday a little girl would never forget.